It's all downhill from here.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the best practices session with RayVi Sunico. He's going to be talking to you guys about
That's
the best
me.
use of perusal. That's him. And I will be
Okay.
here to help field questions. So if RayVi might, keep going and he's not going to look at the chat. So if you want to send questions via chat, I'll be the one looking at it and then I'll just interrupt RayVi at certain points to ask questions.
Okay.
Okie doke.
Yep.
So without further ado, I'm
Okay.
going
Yep.
to let it
So
go.
first, a disclaimer. This is the first time I'm going to do a walkthrough on perusal. So forgive me. I'm going to make mistakes, right? I'm going to try things that I've never done before. So I don't know if Canvas, for example, can handle one of my plans. Um, Having said that, I'm really sold on perusal,
Yeah.
right? I think, yeah. And uh, feel free to, I want this as informal as possible. Okay, so you can interrupt me. You know the feeling when you ask a geek for advice or a nerd for advice, and they're going so fast for you, but for them, they're just going normal because they like it so much. So I know that feeling. I've been on that other side. So feel free to interrupt. I don't mind being interrupted. Tell me when I'm going too fast and things like that. No. Okay, so if you saw my outline, I'll start with telling you why I'm totally sold on perusal. And then I'll show you a finished perusal exam. So you understand why I like it so much. And then at the end, if there's still time, I'm going to ask you to make a perusal exam. No? So to do that, you're going to have to enter my Canvas class, the walkthrough class. Diba? Because you're all listed as teachers. So this is the part I don't know whether we can all make assignments at the same time. But let's try. Right? Baka sumobra ako sa 1 hour. But I'm going to have another session if you find me as interesting as the Barretos. Okay? So why am I sold on perusal? Because I think working from home, the long test is dead. The long test doesn't work anymore. And this is not hyperbolic. I was feeling this even before COVID, right? Because there's Google.
Yeah.
Diba? One, you can do Course Hero, you can do everything, and all of your time will be spent checking plagiarism.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Turnitin, but still, there's another way to go around it. And that happened during my first term paper class in 1976, right? Later, one of the students became a friend. And she said, "RayVi, you know that my boyfriend did my term paper." Sorry, no, the boyfriend was the dumb one. I did the term paper for my boyfriend. And hindi lalabas yan sa Turnitin, etc. It's gotten even more commercial. There are commissions being offered on Shopee. Before it was
Wow.
like an underground, no? You can do in La Salle and St. Benil's were famous for this. They would advertise through social media. And ano yan, classified yan according to Philo. They know the syllabi. So they're categorized under by syllabi, by school. Isipin mo lang if Intermatrix was smart enough and they kept files of everything they printed, mayaman na si Nini Ramos, di ba? I mean, all you have to do is classify that. You have a database of all the papers. So, parang the original purposes of the long test are gone. Okay? And as if you're a pet lover, di ba? The basic thing they tell you as a pet lover is do not give your pet a command you will not enforce. And so with Google, we can't enforce the long test. We can't enforce the reflection paper. Diba? So why go through that? So even then I was looking. And then this happened and I really literally just stumbled upon perusal. Okay. That's one. Let me check my outline. I have an outline for this. Yeah, and also everyone talks about the new type of learning, um, where people work together. Diba? That's what everyone is saying. That's what employers will be looking for. As if Ateneo were, just a provider of
Employment.
manpower. Kunyari, it's not true. Anyway, but why does the admin listen to HR when we should be talking to the CEOs? Anyway, uh, so the other thing is, everyone talks about working together, and the normal approach to that is the group presentation. But as you all know, the way a group presentation works is someone can get by and all he does is edit the film.
Right.
Or does the presentation, and yeah, that's a solid contribution, but there's no learning.
Right.
Not learning your subject, right? You learn Keynote, you learn PowerPoint, and all these kids are good at it. I want them to engage the text. As a teacher, I think I teach classics. I'm not a literary critic. That's not my strength. I'm a creative writer. So I'm in the literature department as a writer. And so obviously my concern is the first moment of education is for them to encounter beautiful texts. I mean, phrased as basically as I can. That's why I'm teaching, right? So I've discovered that in terms of group learning, perusal works better than a group presentation. And I hope I'll be able to demonstrate that. And finally, and I've seen this in my students, and it's such a beautiful experience to see it. But what we're training them when we teach them the long test is we're turning them into horses with blinders. They have to get their grade on their own. If they look at their person's paper, their seatmates' paper, they're accused of copying, right? A lot of the questions my perusal virgins ask me is, sir, can we comment on the other person? What happens if we have the same comment? And I thought, that's not a problem. That's how learning happens. And their eyes open up, right? The concept of learning as competitiveness, diba? Parang kabayo tayo lahat in a horse race na may blinders and we just follow one track. That model of learning is, you can bypass that in perusal. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is share with you a finished perusal exercise. Para na. And then yung last part, if there's still time, I'm going to ask you to do an assignment, to create an assignment from scratch. Okay, that requires your being in my Canvas class. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, so I'm going to share the screen. Okay, let me see if, yeah. I'm going to start really from scratch, no? Yeah, I had to hide all my torrent and porn sites.
RayVi.
Sino kapitbahay ni Barreto? Okay, so this is my dashboard. You can see this is your class. I'm going to pick an old class, so no one is compromised. So these are all graduates. I taught a course on the history of the book, an elective on the history of the book. So let's open it up. Okay. I'm going to go. Oh, you can put your perusal exam, you can open the assignment in a module, but there's here on the left side of Canvas are all your assignments as well. So there, a learning management system gives you multiple ways of getting to the same place. So this is one way, right? But for my students, I ask them, I put it in the module kasi mga, medyo gago sila, and you have to tell them where to look for it. And some of them don't really look, right? So this is the test. So you click it. And these are my directions. You spend a lot of time writing directions. Okay, you address their fear of perusal, their unfamiliarity with perusal. So you tell them what to do, but you also tell them how to make comments. I've posted previous material on how to annotate.
Yes.
I'm assuming you've read the YouTube introduction to perusal, so I won't deal with that anymore. No, so I tell them things like, please click on the link to access the test. Do not log into perusal directly, because if you do that, perusal has a hard problem logging your activity. Dapat nakikita niya na nanggaling from Canvas.
Oh. Wait, so RayVi, naka-merge yung Canvas mo tsaka yung perusal?
Not perfectly, but they have to enter through Canvas.
Okay.
Okay, that's the only way they're merged. We talk to
Okay.
Canvas help about that. There are glitches kung directly through perusal sila papasok. Hindi
Oh.
nalalag yung time nila, for example.
Mm.
May mga problema ang perusal, no?
Okay.
Okay, so this is the history of the book. So I explain what the exercise is about. Here are excerpts from several chapters, and I give them a summary, and I tell them what they can do. You can do a lot with the text I've given you. You can point out the main idea of a complicated paragraph. You can highlight statistics and explain why the author is citing them. You can highlight what you think are important events, etc. No? And then I give them advice. I give them usually 2 or 3 hours because some of them are slow readers talaga. Right? The longer your text, the longer the time. And here we have an admin problem because we're still scheduled the old way.
Yeah.
Right? So you cannot do 3-hour tests, and you know, a 50-minute test is useless in perusal.
Right.
Right? Kasi babasahin nila eh. Remember, the one thing that with perusal that you have is you know for sure they have read the primary readings.
Yeah.
Not all of it, but the part in the test, you know they've read it. We have no assessment outside of graded recitation or reading out in class that gives you that guarantee. Diba? Because everything can come from Course Hero, everything can come from Spark Notes. But ito nakikita mong nagbabasa sila. Okay, real time. So most of my tests are synchronous. I think you get the best results from synchronous. No? So I tell them, so you need a minimum of 6 comments. If you don't make 6 comments, you fail. And you also have to make comments on the different pages. You cannot just comment on the first page. Kasi daya yun, di ba? You're not doing any reading. Yeah. But then I tell them, this is not a race. Because, you know, our students have been brainwashed. I think we were also, that education is competitive. So pag may nagpo-post na mas maaga sa kanila, nag-freeze sila. They get intimidated. This is the bad way of, this is the old way of education. So I have to run, no, it's not a race.
Yeah.
And yes, you can put the same comment because it's not going to be the same. There's your language, there's your grammar, there's what you add, there's your take. Diba? They're not sausages. They're not French fries. I'm not interested that they're alike. I'm not interested that they all have the same answers. I'm interested in their demonstrating that they're trying to understand a text that someone else wrote. I'm happy with that. I think that's the most important experience in a humanities course. Diba? The engagement with the text. Okay, so I tell them it's not a race, and then I give them time checks. Okay, and then I always tell them, yeah, perusal has its own grading system, but I won't do that. I override it. I will read everything that you write myself. So there's no AI. There is AI, but I won't pay attention. So I remind them, you can like other people's comments, you can reply to them or engage in a conversation, etc., etc. Okay, so, and what you have is this link. The link has expired, but all you have to do is refresh, and you click it. It opens up a new tab. You always have to select, open it up in a new tab. If you don't, magkakaproblema kasi
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
hindi siya nagkakasya sa body ng Canvas assignment. It's too small. So this is what happens to the student. She's directly in the text. Let me show you the text. It allows pictures. Actually, you can do video. I haven't even done that yet. Now, ang problema ng perusal is because of our bandwidth, the bigger the class, the greater the lag.
Mm.
So if you see this is yellow, if you click that, you'll see the comments. And I want to show you. Okay. Look, they're talking to each other. Diba? Same comment. And they're talking to, and I say, oh, I like this. You can say, while they're doing it, I like what you said. Go on. Diba? And I engage with her. So we're all discussing. Okay. And then, so this is the board. This is where you can put your comment. You can put emojis. You can put formula, but we're humanities people, so we're afraid of that. You can put in video. You can format your text, etc. The other way to approach it is you go to the course home. Okay, and I won't talk about the test first. I'll show you I'll take my time, take a long look while I take a sip of water. Just get used to the interface. Here are all the important links. You can see all the courses you've taught in Perusal. I've taught a lot. And this is the course home. And the settings is important. I don't use the gradebook, student view. Notifications are important. And for students who like to draft their answers, you tell them this is better than opening up Word and then changing all these tabs. There, they can put their notes, and then they can copy and paste from here, and there are no formatting issues at all. Okay, so back to the course home. This is the reading. Wait, where's my reading? Here. This is the reading. If you haven't read every comment, there's a count here of how many comments you haven't read in the color red. So they see my directions, and here is a dashboard. What I love is you have a pie chart of everyone. You know, I'm very happy with this, that everyone was able to make 6 comments. You'll know if a student didn't make any comments. You'll know at once if a student will fail because blue siya. Hindi siya umabot sa 6. And there, you have a very nice review. You can go into analytics. I'll give you an example. I'll show you 2 interesting analytics there. So this is the whole document. And the orange tells you, as an average, how much time a student spent reading a page. Maganda yung feedback, no? Not that I really use it, but it's there. Okay. Or you can also look at all your students, right? You know the number of annotations, who got the most votes, or who was liking, who asked questions, and so on and so forth. Right? So I have to, let me close. So madami siyang magandang gawin. If your student couldn't make the test, you can extend the deadline, etc., etc. The other nice thing is, you know the students who made most of the comments. They tell you, like, sorry, this is the most upvoted. So this student, she had a comment that made that 7 students like. You also have the most active students. Okay, and with a count, look at this lady. She made 28 comments, right? So medyo alam mo na mataas ang grade niya, di ba? And then what you do is, you click, and you're brought to the comment in context. Okay. 1 sentence, and look how many people were discussing it. It's so nice, di ba? I'll take time. Read their comments. It's very nice. No? So this is the history of the book, by the way, the course. No? I'm talking about the technology of reading and how it is developed. Okay, and you can see I like their comments. So di ba binabasag ko yung how a test is something fearful, no? It's something solitary. You do this in fearful solitude, right? And wow, who wants that, di ba?
And
Okay.
Brady question.
Yeah.
So this is a test, right?
Yeah.
So so how do you go about evaluating the comments? What do you look for?
First, whether they're correct, because you're always matching their comment with the text.
Yeah.
Right. And in my syllabus, I always say, you have to be able to express yourself well. Right. So I give them 3 basic rubrics for comprehension. You're able to explain the highlighted text. You're able to relate the text to the whole excerpt. You're able to explain why you thought that text was important enough to highlight. And then you're able to relate that to the lesson. Right?
So
And
is there a numeric point for each comment?
I look at everything. And I think you can, but that's not my style.
Okay.
Right? Kasi fragmentary nga eh. It's not one long text. And besides, none of them can write a long text anymore, di ba? Although you do have people writing like a page long comments. You know? There, look. I mean, these are people talking about the technology of printing, no? And this is the first time they've heard of it, di ba? So this is the comment. He was not the only one making experiments. Yung experimenting with inventing a printing machine. It all really falls on one major idea, innovation. To adapt to the different demands, needs, and situations presented by the industry, there's always going to be the want to innovate. I think that's an enlightened comment, right? They understand how technology works. Then this one, she really read the book, diba? I also wanted to point out here that Gutenberg had an edge as he partnered with 3 men to work on secret processes. So I know they've read the book talaga. So these are rewarded, of course.
Yeah, like someone else was mentioning another, like a documentary that you apparently showed, right? With Stephen Fry, you know.
Yeah. And they can refer to readings outside the class, which I love. Diba? Kasi what I value in feedback from students is their ability to relate to all the things you assign them. Diba? I think that's what a syllabus is for, no? A syllabus has one message or one great or 2 or 3 great ideas you want to bring home. And the small parts are demonstrations of that. Or a syllabus is meant to develop a skill. And all the readings are meant for them to practice that skill on seeing patterns, so you can see I'm a humanities major, diba? I'm after the broad view. Okay, so those are the things I reward. And then there's another way to look at it. Here on top, this is really very important. Okay. If you click on student, you can go to one student, this girl, let's take Pia, and you can pick the test she took, and then all her comments are there. So this helps with grading a lot.
Yeah.
Diba?
You can see the track record, yung consistency and quality.
Exactly. And then also you can see she's interacting.
Yeah.
Diba? She's discussing. So Pia Pia loves perusal, and she's blooming under it, no? And she made 10 entries, right? And then, okay, and then you're reading, what's she talking about? That sounds like a good comment, but what is she talking about? So you click it. And you're back to the context. Diba? So you can vet your grade. Okay. They're talking about typeface history, right?
Yeah.
So, and then look what I do. So she makes a nice comment here, looking at the blah, 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 blah. There's something I don't understand. So I ask,
Yeah.
what do you mean
Yeah.
by this?
Yeah.
And then she can explain,
Right.
right? Okay, so then I can make a joke too. And then it goes on, no? Oh, it's a nice conversation between two students.
Right.
Diba? They get validation while they're taking the exam. Diba? That doesn't happen in a long test. Diba?
Yeah.
So review what you're evaluating or what you're observing is how they read and what how they read and what they give to the text by way
Yeah.
of their insights and responses to it.
Yeah, I'm observing comprehension real time. Diba? This is comprehension. Alam ba nila magbasa? Okay, that's one. Two, do they have the synthetic ability to relate it to the lesson? They can refer to, I encourage them to refer to other readings, diba? To the world outside of the text reading. I reward that. It's very exciting to see, diba? Because even in a test, you don't really know that they read it. Diba? They mostly the test, they regurgitate your notes. Diba? So nakikita mo talaga, no? What happens with that. Okay. Now, yeah, so I'm done with this first part. It's 6:01. So we have like 20 minutes left. Any questions so far?
Well, Mike naman just mentioned that sometimes students start out think the notes is where they're supposed to write all the annotations. So instead of putting it into the text, sometimes they just put it in the notes and it doesn't end up. Tama, no, Mike? That's what you're saying.
I had to correct like after the first reading or so, parang there was a student na lahat ng sinulat was niya sa notes lang.
That's
Rather
why
than on the text
that's why from the start of class there's a perusal trial.
orientation, right.
Yeah.
So like a warm-up, right? Get everybody.
I usually
They
put a
can ask
sample
me.
text.
Yeah. But more and more, marami ng estudyanteng nagpe-perusal. So,
Love it.
yeah. And then so you like it too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Me, I use it actively. I really do. I've even used it for the videos, and I attended this session
Seminar.
to find out how you put numeric, yun nga, the numeric value, because
Right.
I do it for introduction of concepts and
Yeah. Yeah.
kunyari sample texts that they can follow or sample presentation
Yeah.
skills, ganyan, of watching a TED talk, for example, and they comment. And so I haven't done it in terms of a test. Yun.
Right,
But
right.
I use it in terms of recitation and
Yeah.
discussion and
But that's what I do too, except that I grade it. Diba? It's the same.
okay. Yeah.
Same lang eh, diba?
Yeah.
And the nice thing is if it's synchronous, I am assuming kasi sa'yo, asynchronous, diba?
Oo, eh.
Oh,
Oo.
Pag synchronous, you can see it happening.
Oo.
And it makes it so much easier to check because you actually wind up reading their comments 2 or 3
Right.
times.
Yeah.
Diba? You're seeing their comments as it happens. So you remember the good people, you remember the people who don't know how to read. Perusal will show you the person doesn't know how to read, right? And then before you give the grade, you read them again on your own. Diba? Tapos na. And so, diba, the problem with correcting long tests is it's such a slog, right? I mean, you're gonna read everything, all this bad grammar, you're gonna read all of that in one go, and then you go, okay, now I have to read them again to be fair, and you go, okay, where's the scotch, right?
And then you have to do that 20 plus times.
Right. In
Yeah,
perusal,
please.
that first pass, sa synchronous, that first pass, solve ka na.
Gets mo na.
And then alam mo na yung sino babasahin mo, alam mo na yung sino may problema,
Yeah.
etc. Okay, so that's the first part. So now I'm going to, any other questions? Raymond, Kams? None?
You
Okay.
guys good?
Yeah, you guys okay?
Yeah. Cams is
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Raymond is okay.
So what I'm gonna do now is, and I encourage you to try it. Okay, let's make an assignment. Right? So we'll go to the Canvas classroom. I'll turn this perusal thing. I've shown you a perusal test that's finished. I'm going to show. Okay. Pakibasa. Wait. Binabasa
Wait.
ko yung comment ni.
Super hirap ako mag-integrate ng perusal, admittedly. So this is helpful. So Cams is grateful for the
Right.
talk.
Ano ibig sabihin mong mag-integrate, Cam? Yeah. Cams. Sorry.
Cams, you're muted.
Oh, yeah, kasi I had like I'm still finding the balance of yun nga kasi before I used to have the perusal assignments as something different from like parang may discussion board pa tapos may perusal assignment. So parang yun nga doble yung chine-checkan ko kasi I have to read like, the comments on perusal. And also the discussion board assignment kasi parang what I did was like the close reading was separate from like the deepening part. So this is really helpful.
The reflection
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
Okay. My setup
so yun.
Yeah, my setup is Cams. Yung major assessments ko lahat perusal.
Oh.
And the discussion is optional. That's what they do to boost their grades. Right? And I tell them, I'm reading so much, guys, right? I can't answer you at once. But in perusal, that problem gets solved. Kasi actually, if you're going to do that, mamimili ka between discussion post and perusal.
Yeah. Cannot be.
Huwag mo pagsabay.
Wag
And the
pagsabay.
problem, ang pangit ng interface ng discussion ng Canvas. Because if it's not designed for long discussions.
No, it'll malatabunan eh.
Because after a while, you don't know what the comment is replying to.
Yeah.
It's a flaw
After
in
one
Canvas.
reply, the levels, it's terrible.
So all my reply, I have to put the name of my student, di ba? And like Facebook, kita mo agad. Yung threading nila, pangit. Hindi sila nag-thread talaga. So I think the best is to pick. Right? Ako, major tests, all major assessments are perusal. And then boost grades, diba? Extra work, the difference between a B+ and an A or an F and a D, that can happen in discussion.
Like, I'll try that.
Yeah.
So wala ka ng papers in your courses?
Ako wala. I don't give homework. The homework I give is group presentations. Yun nga, I don't trust the homework. Right? Why am I going to check something I don't trust? And why will I subject? Diba? And there's this whole talk about admin na they're so busy doing things, diba? So why? I'll do it online, real time. Diba? Mababa ang expectations ko sa kanila in that sense, no? Because I know they're busy, they're gone, they're tuliro, right? So here they can focus, no? Okay, here's one.
So Mike is saying what I do is have guide questions that they can use perusal as a scratch paper for, and they can post final answers and argue about them on Padlet.
Yeah.
Very
That's
curious about how to do this with
perusal
GVE.
Diba?
I'm actually thinking the same thing. Like
we all have our biases for the best assessment.
Yeah.
Right?
But like for GVE, I was thinking that you can do a test, right? You can present the text there, whatever it is, a poem or a short story.
Yeah.
And then run it synchronously.
Yeah.
It's great to teach them close reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what else it teaches them? It teaches them how to read slowly. And none of us teach that.
Yes.
It slows down their reading. That's why I wrote that article on how to annotate. Because my teachers taught me that, diba? And also my work.
I'd like to use that.
Nasa Canvas. It's downloadable.
I'd like to use that
all
in
your Canvas class.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
My royalty is small naman eh.
I'll send you a black label. I'll send you a black label.
Okay. I'll write something pa.
Akala ko picture ni ng neighbor mo.
That's wrapped around the black label.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question? Raymond, ikaw, have you used Perusal already?
Not yet po.
Hmm.
But what I do kasi I have a weekly assignment for them, but I give one question. That's something that they cannot see somewhere else.
Okay.
So I see if they indeed read the text that we're working on, and then we'll discuss it. So for example, on Monday they'll read, and they'll work on it. On Wednesday, we'll discuss it in class on Friday. So that's our usual grind.
But you know how fast they are with looking up.
Yeah.
With looking up
So
source hero. Huh?
Yeah, so I make it a point that the question is really specific, something that they don't see in some web pages.
That must be hard to do it for every unit, man.
Yeah,
True.
But
Diba?
it's a bit rewarding, especially if they got it correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the problem but with GVE? Why everyone's talking about global voices?
What do you mean?
Michael is saying
He's spoiled by Perusal.
very curious about how to do this way.
Oh yeah,
Well,
no,
yeah.
because the final requirement is an essay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious, like if there's any room to negotiate that.
And
Yeah.
in GVE kasi diba?
You really want the essay? Me, I don't feel it's important.
It's not up to me.
Right now kasi it's the required assessments.
Right.
Don't tell them. Don't tell
Discussion
them.
mo na lang.
No one
May
will.
recording to,
We're
ha?
recording.
Oh, absent naman sila
Si
eh.
Roy kasi yung coordinator eh.
Coordinator ako ng GVE.
Like for their literature, it's not GVE, but you can actually put like 3 points together and ask them to compare.
Yeah.
And
I
remember,
think it can be done depending talaga on
Right.
and if you can
all you have to do is give them a word count.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
Right.
then if you can figure out it's the numeric value how you get how you count the points to get the A or the B
Right.
plus.
Right.
Which is partially rubric, the rubric for it.
Oo But if you give like clear rubrics kagaya what you said a while ago, RayVi, yung how you express yourself, how you synthesize it, and how
Right.
you relate it to
Right.
the
No,
other responses.
I
from
even
the
tell
other.
them, if you use result to rather than result in, minus yan.
Yeah.
If you don't know the difference between it's with an apostrophe
And
and
it's without.
that's automatically a grade lower.
Kasi it's really, di ba? It's really evaluating reading and writing, the integration
Yeah.
of reading and
Yeah.
writing, di ba? So in that sense, I agree that it can take the place of an
assessment.
essay
Yeah.
at the end of the at the end of the course.
It's intriguing to think, let's say, diba, we have a midterm exam usually for GVE. That can take its place, right?
Actually, parang close reading demo.
Yes,
Right.
close
How you
reading.
close read.
Right.
It's close
how you
reading,
close
and then you
read,
just have a
right.
design for prompt
Right.
questions and stuff like
You
that.
know, all you have to do is change the setting and say, all you have to make is 2 comments.
Oh, yeah, you can set that.
You can
Yeah,
set
yeah,
that. That's what I'm going to show
Ako
you.
excited ako dito para sa poem, kunyari, sa poetry.
Yeah.
Diba?
Ang ganda,
Yes.
Tev. Ang ganda.
Maganda yun.
Poetry.
And then they learn pa from their classmates.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yes,
this is what I
yes.
thought it was. And then
Yes.
they'll
Yes.
actually say, "Uy, I never saw it like this."
Yeah. Sometimes it's experiences pa na that colors the so it becomes
Yeah.
richer.
And that, it's such a joy to see students discover that I can learn from reading my classmates' work,
Yeah.
because that's anathema, di ba? They've
Yeah.
all been brainwashed that you
True.
cannot read. Even the privacy law, they're using that, which is so stupid, no? It's a wrong interpretation of the law, no? What's wrong with learning from your students, from your classmates?
And I like the collaborative of it, that you
Oo.
guys can talk
Better
about.
than group presentation.
Yeah.
Walang dayaan.
Ang ano ko lang, RayVi, siguro trying to think about the logistics. Yung if you do it as a sync session task,
Then you hate
you
the
might-
office of the registrar.
Yeah, and also about those who have low internet connection, intermittent internet
Yeah.
connection, and
Right.
low bandwidth and all that.
The
You might
demand is
get the
big.
human rights violation aspect
Right.
of it. So, so
Yeah,
yun,
but,
yan ang ina-anticipate ko na downside.
Yeah,
But
but I
I'm
think that's
really all for it kasi nga
but
you
I
see
think
it.
that's admin's problem. It's not my problem, because
Okay.
they're forcing a square peg, di ba? Into a round hole. You're going to go online tapos may problema sila sa bandwidth. Anyway, you can reschedule, you can extend the deadline. You can allow that naman eh.
Alright.
I just make sure that I'm there. I set a separate date for one student who cannot make it.
But you're there.
And I'm there. I try as much as possible to be there.
Okay.
I like
So
that.
that's what
That's
you
pretty
mean
good.
by sync na you're there with the
Yeah, I'm
with the
there with
class.
Yeah.
So you set a time and a date, and then you're all there. And I guess
And
it
she
helps, no?
And she can still read everybody else's comments.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Because ang isip ko naman, kung talagang wala kang internet connection, ba't ka nag-enroll?
Yes. Oo talaga eh.
For me naman, if I give into that, that's pandering na eh.
Yeah.
But there are minimum requirements. I mean, yeah, it's sad. But mag-LOA ka na kung ganyan kalala yung problema.
Totoo. Yeah.
You probably have bigger problems.
And why are they laying the guilt trip on the teacher? Right? I think one hybrid way is, before we go face-to-face, is Ateneo guarantees internet access to students who don't have one at home.
Yeah.
So they can go to Ateneo rather than having face-to-face classes and use the internet
and
signal.
use the internet there. Yeah.
That's like one step, and it's still a safe step, right? You don't have full-on classes.
Yeah.
If anyone there is close to admin, you can suggest that. I mean, right before, because I'm totally against face-to-face now. After what's happening in Europe,
scary.
After what's happening in Europe,
it's genuinely scary.
20,000 cases a day, grabe, in the
We're
Netherlands.
not quite. We're not ready for that yet.
Yeah.
And it might circle back, right? We're doing well, but
we're doing well. Tapos, yeah.
You know.
So I'm saying, why not make Ateneo, before you talk even about hybrid, your internet cafe for the students that can't afford.
Yeah, make a safe area na may access, diba?
Yeah. I had the student graduating, but he got locked down on campus. Then eventually he got a job as a teacher. He stayed in the dorm, right? And says, aren't you depressed? Sir, it's the fastest internet I've ever experienced.
Walang gumagamit eh.
He got an online job proofreading test answers from this Indian company, their national exams, and he was earning money. Wala siyang internet bill, di ba?
Oh, bilis pa ng internet ng Ateneo kung walang gumagamit.
Yeah. So I think that's one way to ease into it. So it's 5:17.
Yep.
Are you still interested in opening
doing the assignment?
I gotta go, RayVi. I have to go. I have to do stuff.
So maybe we'll just schedule another one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Better.
We can talk to Jovi and we'll schedule. Maybe we'll start from, because people naman will see the recording.
Yeah.
So we'll start from wherever we leave off.
Yeah.
Para yung assignment building na lang talagang gagawin.
Yeah, Dev has to go. I have one important thing I want to share with you is how to tweak the settings so it gives you what you want.
Can you share
Kasi may default settings that I don't agree with.
Okay.
So I customize my settings. That's important.
Can we have a look?
Yeah, okay. Nagawa mo na yan, Dev?
Hindi pa. Hindi pa. Customize settings, I don't think so.
What am I gonna do? Okay, so I'm going to open up my class. So I'm going to go to our class, our walkthrough class.
Yeah.
Right?
Can you
because
share?
That one has the default setting. Yeah, I'm just opening it up.
Okay.
So I'm going to share. This is the default setting. Sorry, this is what you see in my class. Open it up. And I'm going to start an assignment. New assignment. Okay. Assignment name, walkthrough. You can put your directions here. Blah, blah. You assign points. So you have assignments. You can create your group, points, external tool, perusal.
Okay.
And then you have to click this. This is the most important thing.
I see. Okay.
Because otherwise, it won't work. Okay. Allowed attempts. Oh, I'm a nice teacher. So, okay. Then you do this, right? So, available from today, due. Okay. After the weekend.
AV question.
Yeah.
This one, inayos mo siya dun sa settings mo na nag-integrate yung perusal and
Hindi to,
Canvas?
no. This is
Hindi.
just how
Hindi.
Canvas works.
Okay.
This is, I don't really integrate grading because I don't like machines doing my grading.
Okay.
Diba? So then I save and publish. And there's the tab, right?
Yeah.
And you click it.
And you're in
It
perusal.
opens in a new tab. Okay. So, wala pa akong assignment, di ba? You have to add assignment. But before I do that, I go to settings.
Okay.
This is the important part. Scoring. Okay. And this is the default. Okay.
That's the default.
Right.
Okay.
And this weighs it. So they're giving 20% points to just opening the assignment target. Well, my advice is the first time you open it, take a screenshot para hindi mo makalimutan yung default, di ba?
Yeah.
Okay. So what? Oh, I'm gonna give that what? 5%, di ba? Based on perusal, students can earn for full credit based on comment quality. Okay, 75. Reading target. There's two types of reading. They just read it. I don't care about that.
So reading target, makita lang nila yung page.
Oh, mag-visit sila ng page. May points.
If they scroll.
20%. Okay,
Mabait ako. Okay. And then I go, active reading target is when they highlight.
And yeah.
So then I'm
that
gonna
should be higher.
Up, right? Getting responses, pwede sila mag-conchaba. So maliit lang yan. Diba? Okay. Oh, sige, taas na natin. Okay. I'm not doing the math, ha? We have to add this all up so it equals 100.
Doesn't it automatically do it?
Madali. Yeah, actually I'm over. But I'm just showing you what to do.
Right.
Just showing what to do. Show scoring options.
Yeah.
Receiving votes, increment, marami ka pa doon. So save changes.
Okay.
Diba? The other thing is general. This is where you put all your stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
How about grouping? Do you put them in smaller groups?
No, I don't.
You don't. So it's really the whole class.
Right. Nahihirapan ako nalilito ko pag grouping. So
They don't like it then.
So we follow a 1 to 4 system. So I make it 4. Right, di ba? No, the handbook is 1 to 4, right? The QPI is 1 to 4.
Yeah.
And then assignment score, I want 2 decimal places. Okay.
I've never done this.
And then it says, do you want to integrate it to your LMS? I don't.
Okay.
I
So
do
it
that
can sync
manually. I
into that.
record it in Excel, right? Give a score to a student if you complete. Oh, what? Ano ka, gago? So of course not, di ba? No mercy.
Yep.
Assignment reminders. No. I want them to know the number of comments they need. Okay. Show avatars. Yes. Automatically flag. No.
No.
Care about that.
Yeah.
Okay, there.
Oh.
So I save that. So we have scoring, binago nila to. This is recent, no? Grouping, general.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm looking for the part where you can also set the minimum number of comments, and I can't
Yeah.
now.
Paano yun?
It's also in the setting. Eh. Ewan ko ba't nila tinanggal eh. This is new for me.
This slider thing.
Yeah. No, this all the colors. What's
Yeah.
content? Oh, okay. I'll look for it and I'll tell you, di ba?
Yeah.
In the old one, kitang-kita ko agad. I thought it was in the settings. Eh.
You give a minimum number of comments.
Right, because masyadong mataas ang perusal. Perusal sets it at 7 and I set it at 6.
Okay.
Scoring, advance. If you enter value, okay. Alam ko nasa scoring siya eh. Wait, let me read it more slowly. Receiving update. Anyway, let's just stay there first.
Yeah.
I'll go back to course home. Okay. Add assignment. So now I have an assignment. You have all of this, right? Content to assign. You go to the library.
Yeah.
And then you can
Get a
upload.
text. Yeah.
You have all these choices, diba? You can upload from your computer, from Dropbox, or from Perusal. That's where they make money because you pay them to do that, right? And I already did that. And this is the one I'm going to have for the assignment. So add assignment. Okay. Content to assign. Barn stowaway. Tells you, do you want all the pages or do you want just a page range? So I pick that, all the content, options. So this is the name, walkthrough. You can just copy and paste from Canvas, blah, blah. Okay, when they can start to see it.
Yeah.
Right? You can even assign for the late students, right? And when the deadline is. Okay, so scoring. Okay, so you use the general settings because I set it up already. And then you save changes. And now there's the assignment.
Yeah. And
So
then when you open, you can start na, no?
You can start na. So let's go back to Canvas. Let's pretend we're a student.
Okay.
There.
Okay.
They're ready to go.
All right.
Okay, so I guess that's it for now. Diba?
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
very useful.
Simple, yeah.
I think a lot of people already learned something less from that settings thing that you demonstrated.
Yeah, yun yung laro
I
eh.
have to go
Yan yung
back
laro
to
eh.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
And also yung how to use it in Canvas, I think. So
yeah, it
it's,
has to
it's
come
a,
from Canvas.
Yeah.
It has to come from Canvas.
It's a lot simpler pag ganon na you don't have to think about switching.
Gagawa ka pa ng code, bibigyan mo
Yeah,
pa sila
yeah.
ng code and everything. Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
questions. Last questions. We have about 3 minutes. If you guys have any questions to ask.
None. Oh, just like my normal class when I asked.
tsaka walang video.
Marami akong tinanong.
Oh, marami to. Star student si Debbie.
Alas ka na sa participation.
Francis, what's up?
No, I just wanted to say thank you to RayVi kasi I tried Perusal before, yung naka-integrate pa sa Canvas. Pero
Wala.
as discussion, so parang it worked for me, or I didn't really, I don't know, parang I didn't really, maybe I wasn't able to
Enjoy
maximize it as he did. Yeah, you know what,
Yeah.
RayVi, your joy is infectious. So I'm like, I'm gonna give it another try. Pero maganda yung sinabi mo na using it as an assessment tool.
You know.
I mean, I
Assign
tried
elaborate
na
That
over
base
use it.
level of enforcing your reading assignment, no
Yeah.
one else can do that outside of graded recitation. I mean, outside of reading out the text, you don't come that close.
And you can see them talk. This is the thing, which is
The
closer
first
to
test
a
they won't,
classroom experience.
because they've been brainwashed. Diba? They're like horses with blinders.
Yeah.
But by the second, they start to bloom. So I always grade more nicely in the first test. I tell them I'm very lax with the grading. And then the second test, ayan na, totoo na to ah. You know.
Just to get them to relax, no? And
Yeah.
to get out of that mindset of yung
Yeah.
naka-blinders
I have students
ka.
looking forward and actually telling me I enjoyed it, sir. I've never taken a test like this before.
It sounds very interesting, actually.
Hmm.
So, okay, questions. Last call. Kasi si Francis mukhang kakain eh.
Ako yung comment ko lang, if we discuss this in the departmental level, reconsidering assessment practices, I think we have to be prepared in planning how to adjust our rubrics.
Yes.
Because
Agree.
especially for the basic courses,
Yes.
when
yes,
everyone
yes.
has to do this, with all due respect, I think that's pre-COVID mindset.
Yeah.
Right.
Hindi mo na ma-enforce
yeah.
yan.
But I
And-
totally agree that what you're evaluating on Perusal will really work with GVE because it's a reading class.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Diba? It's a
Precisely.
reading class.
Exactly. It's a reading class.
And for the other, even for the major lit subjects, you talk about Philippine lit, you talk about, Western lit, it'll work.
Ah. Lalo na all this postmodern jargon, di ba? Patay sila dyan. Di ba?
So,
And then you have to ask yourself, oh shit, do I really understand the term?
Yeah. Tsaka it keeps you alert also as a coach, di ba?
Yes.
How
Yeah.
to make sense of all their comments, di ba?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to keep up.
Kasi ako, that this whole COVID is, I'm paring down the learning experience to skills, di ba? Never mind the information. They're not going to become literary critics.
Yeah.
But they come out of my class knowing how to read.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a text they've never seen before.
Right.
Some of them are crying the first time. By the second time, wala na silang takot.
Yep.
A lot of it is psychological naman, di ba, sa test taking.
True.
Na-intimidate.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
So there.
So comment ko for GVE, we can perhaps explore that as a
an option.
test of some sort during
Yeah.
the semester.
Yeah.
Then to really give feedback on how
Yeah.
you went about
If you want,
it.
I can make a sample GVE test if you give me the parameters.
Yeah.
Sige. I can send
Here
it.
to discuss when you crit a test
Pero I
rather
think we
than
need
talk
to look at
theoretically.
the time. Kunyari, kasi our sync sessions are only 50 minutes.
Yun nga. So maybe
Yun
a
lang.
Yan ang
poem nga.
problema sa registrar. Yan ang problema.
Yeah.
Maybe a short.
I've given tests where they have to read 15 pages they've never seen before.
Yeah.
But
That
by the
takes time.
second test, they know na.
Yeah.
They got it na. There's time management. You
Yes.
can make announcements naman di ba? You say, okay, but I don't think a 45 perusal test will work. Yan ang mga problema natin.
45 minutes.
I think you need at least 90 minutes. And that's one poem.
Yep.
Lalo na
Right.
pag freshie,
Yeah. Right.
lalo na yung mahina magbasa because remember, this is the Facebook, Instagram generation.
Right.
Ganyan
Diba, for
kahaba
them,
yung text.
15 pages is a long read. Diba?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Diba?
Yeah.
Diba? And yet, they've read all of June. Diba? They've read Trilogy, so you don't know with these people.
Yep.
So there.
So, okay. So, thank you, RayVi. This
Okay.
is a lot. And I think it was
One more
really good
idea.
session.
You can also have a two-step test, right?
True.
You can have the first part that's synchronous and a second part that's asynchronous.
Right.
It's all up to your
Like do-
imagination. Diba?
Might do that.
It's
Parang
fun.
culling the responses,
Right.
diba? Parang
Exactly.
choose a remark that was striking for you and
Right.
develop that. Yeah.
Here
Yeah.
are 10 comments from our synchronous
Oo.
class.
Yeah.
Annotate
yeah.
them
Pwede.
asynchronously, and they go, wow, that double reflection, di ba?
Yeah.
Metacritical ka na nun, di ba? Parang gano'n ka.
Hindi, filo lang yan, secondary reflection. Yeah.
Thanks,
so,
RayVi.
yeah,
So
Thank you,
thank you,
Ray.
Ravi.
go away. I
I-
want to light my cigarette na. Okay.
Next time na, pag ano natin ulit. So,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Ravi.
Yeah,
Thank you
next
to
time, let's
everyone.
do it over drinks and food.
Why not?
Yeah,
We'll schedule it
yeah.
again and we'll let you know. Right?
Right.
For those of you who, for those of you who are watching on recording, we'll probably schedule another session to finish what Ravi started because we want to do that assignment. But it's a lot of stuff to think about, and I thought it was a wonderful session. Aside
And
from
you're
the
still in my class. Play with what I did.
yeah,
But it's all there
Okay.
now. I did it for you.
and there was chismis that you don't know about, but we're not gonna talk about it anymore. So, so wait, I'm stopping recording.
Okay.